Check, check. Y'all can hear me good? Pass out the clock. Sound phone over there. All right, we're gonna start off answering the questions from last week. Let's see. All right, question one is, if Hamashiach is our father, if Hamashiach is our Elohim and our Father, why does he say no one is good but the Father? Why does he say no one is good but the Father? Y'all familiar with that text? What's that? Matthew 19. Pull that up real quick. Pull that up, Matthew 19. Yeah. You can go ahead and read it. Go ahead. What's it down?
It's This is Matthew chapter 19 and I'm going to start at verse 16. And behold, one came and said unto him, Good master, what good thing shall I do that I may have eternal life? And he said unto him, Why callest thou me good? There is none good but one, that is Elohim. But if thou wilt enter into life, keep the commandments.
So first, it doesn't say there's only one good but the Father. It says there's only one good but Elohim. So if you understand this text, this guy is trying to flatter him, trying to butter him up. So he's asking, verse 16 again, it says, Behold, and one came and said unto him, Good master, what good thing shall I do that I may have eternal life? So this guy knows exactly who he is, and he's asking him about eternal life. He knows that Mashiach is the one with it, and he's trying to butter him up with this good master thing. Read verse 17 again.
And verse 17, and he said unto him, Why callest thou me good?
He said the same thing again somewhere else. Why callest me good, and then don't do what I say? So right here he's saying, why do you call me good? Read.
There's none good but one.
But who?
But one.
But one. Read.
That is Elohim.
That is who?
Elohim.
That is Elohim. Hold that. Give me John chapter 1 and 1.
This is John chapter 1 and verse 1. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with Elohim.
The Word was what?
Was with Elohim.
And the Word was what?
Elohim.
And the Word was Elohim. So he's actually speaking about himself, trying to get this guy to see. Why do you call me good and don't do what I say? Right? Let's see something else right. Hold on one second. Now go get that John chapter 10 and verse 11.
This is John chapter 10 and verse 11. He answered and said, A man that is called Yeshua made clay and anointed mine eyes, and said unto me, Go to the pool of Siloam.
No, is that John chapter 10?
Oh, sorry.
Pick it up at verse 10. John 10 and 10.
John 10 and 10. Sorry about that. The thief cometh not, but for to steal, and to kill, and to destroy. I am come that they might have life, and that they might have it more abundantly.
So the other guy asking about eternal life right here, he says, I am the one that came to make sure you get life, that it may have it more abundantly. Read.
I am the good shepherd.
I'm the what shepherd?
I am the good
I
shepherd.
am the good shepherd. So when he's asking this question, this guy is trying to sneak and trying to basically swindle him and con him with good, flattering words. But he still don't want to do what he's saying. So here he acknowledges that he is the good shepherd. So he's actually speaking about himself. Go back to that first verse. Matthew.
Matthew 19 and verse 16. I'll start at 16. And behold, one came and said unto him, Good master, what good thing shall I do that I may have eternal life? And he said unto him, Why callest thou me good? There is none good but one.
But who?
But one.
But one, read.
That is Elohim. But if thou wilt enter into life, keep the commandments. He saith unto him, Which? Yeshua said, Thou shalt do no murder.
Thou shalt what?
Thou shalt do no murder.
Read.
Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not bear false witness. Honor thy father and thy mother. And thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. The young man saith unto him, All these things have I kept from my youth up. What lack I yet? Yeshua said unto him, If thou wilt be perfect, go and sell that thou hast and give to the poor.
So he's already asked him, how do I get eternal life? Now he's telling them directly, do what I would do. Read.
And go and sell that thou hast, and go to the poor, and thou shalt have treasure in heaven.
You said what?
Thou shalt have treasure in heaven.
Read.
And come and follow me.
And do what?
Come and follow me.
Come and follow me. If you want eternal life, come and follow Yah the Father. Read.
Verse 22. But when the young man heard that saying, he went away sorrowful, for he had great possessions.
So he just told the boy to come and do what to him? Follow me. Because he is the way to the Father. So if you follow him, he's trying to tell him, I'm the guy. Don't come with flattering words to try to trick me up so you can get away with something. I'm telling you the way to get to the kingdom, it's through me. So don't call me good and then don't do what I say. All right?
Next question. Is it really going to be a prophet like Michael to come and do what the Messiah did?
There is no prophet Michael. Whoever asked that, please rephrase that again. There is no prophet Michael.
Maybe you're trying to say Micah. I will mention it, Micah. Let's go to the next one. Those who strongly believe that people go to heaven after they die lean on or use the scripture, 2 Corinthians 5 and 8. I want to say that's the absent with the body, present with the Lord thing. Please clarify the meaning of this for understanding of the meaning of this. 2 Corinthians 5 and 8.
This is 2 Corinthians 5 and verse 8. We are confident, I say, and willing rather to be absent from the body and to be present with the master. Wherefore we labor that whether present or absent, we may be accepted of him. For we must all appear before the judgment seat of Mashiach, that everyone may receive the things done in his body according to that he hath done, whether it be good or bad. Knowing, therefore, the terror of the master, we persuade men, but we are made manifest unto Elohim, and I trust also are made manifest in your consciousness. Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 7. Then shall the dust return to the earth as it was.
The what?
The dust shall return to the earth as it was.
So to be absent from the body is to be dead, right? That's what that's alluding to, read.
And the Ruach shall return unto Elohim who gave it.
And the what?
And the Ruach shall return unto Elohim who gave it.
So the body goes back to the dust, and the Ruach, the breath, goes back to Yah. But we know that the dead at this time, as it is written, knows nothing.
All right, so to clarify, it's not saying that when you die, you as your person, your body, your being will be with Elohim. Your body or your being is awaiting judgment, but the breath or the ruach that Yahuwah gave to make life into the person will be back with him. Make sense? I think that was it outside of that other question, so we can go ahead and proceed.
Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. How was our week this week? All right. Oh, by the way, we want to acknowledge our visitors real quick. Brother, you want to stand up real quick? All right, would you introduce yourself to the congregation now?
Shalom, brothers and sisters. My name is Ezekiel. Came here from Louisville. So I'm living here right now. Pleasure to be with y'all in your presence.
Welcome to the family here, man. It's a blessing to have you, bro. All right. We have any more visitors? You ain't no visitor, man. Good to see you, though, huh?
Like the other two that normally talk, they would say, you are amongst family, you are welcome to come back anytime, so I gotta say, because they not here. So please hurry back so I don't gotta do it. Amongst family, welcome anytime.
Anytime. All right.
Oh yeah, we got another business. Dragon down Dundee.
That won't be, man.
All right, so y'all, the last time I was up here, I kind of delved into. The last time I was up here, I kind of delved into raising our children and keeping them on the righteous path, right? And I titled that lesson "Frankenstein Children." Often, just kind of linking it to the movie. Anybody that's ever seen the movie Frankenstein, just to recap a little bit. The movie, is about some mad scientists creating a monster. They end up stealing this brain that's the brain of a murderer. And they put this brain brain of a murderer into this vessel. And then this vessel starts to go out once they actually make it alive. They start to go out and kill. All right. So that was, I based the lesson the last time I was up here around that. All right, but I'm gonna still talk about, dealing with our children. And today's title is Parental Discretion is Advised, and we're talking about discipline, right? All right, and you think about, and I kind of wanted to focus on how, when you think about the Most High, we often make connections and parallels to a marriage, like how the Most High looks at the children of Israel. But he also, okay, real quick, I guess we got one more announcement.
Brother Hezekiah from Indiana. He on his way up. At the end of service, they will be getting married here. All right. We're gonna officiate their marriage. And we we all get to be here, witness and participate. Just to let y'all know. So when you leave, kind of stick around for a little bit. I think they're about hour and some change out, hour and a half out. So after service, we will be doing a small ceremony. It's not going to be nothing major, but joining two souls together to become one before the eyes of Yahuwah. Hallelujah.
All right. So now, like I was saying, in regards to dealing with children, raising them up in the righteous way. Like I said, today's title is Parental Discretion is Advised. What do we know about discretion? What does the word discretion mean to us? We know, any of us know of a definition? That's a great definition. To make an educated decision based on caution. All right. What I got is the ability to make intelligent decisions in everyday matters. All right. The ability to make intelligent decisions in everyday matters. Right. And that word in the Hebrew is mazima. Right. Let's open up with Proverbs 1 and 4. So, like I was talking about, I kind of wanted to go back into some of this because I just, with me having another child on the way, I've been reflecting a lot about and thinking a lot about what I can do better as a parent. And, I just want to make sure that I'm doing all that I can to have my son, as well as my seed that's on the way, whatever I have, son or daughter, to keep them on a righteous path.
You said your son.
Son or daughter. Twins. Twins. My wife will kill me. My wife will kill me when I get home. Twins.
Sheesh.
But whatever the Most High blesses us with, I want to be prepared to give my children knowledge, to keep them armed spiritually. All right. The things that I learned, I understand, and I always talk about this, but the things that I learned growing up was not healthy. And now that I'm in a position to do better, I want to make sure that I do better for my children. All right? So that's my goal. And, I've been reflecting on that. So I kind of I'm going to touch on some of the same stuff, but we want to talk about discipline too. We want to base parenting around how the Most High deals with children, dealt with his children, which was the children of Israel. All right? The Most High dealt with his children in a certain way, and we need to emulate the Most High when it comes to this parenting. All right, so that's kind of what I want to show. I ain't going to be that long. Proverbs, let me get there. Proverbs 1 and 4. Proverbs 1 and verse.
Proverbs chapter 1 and verse 3. To receive the instructions of wisdom, justice and judgment, and equity, to give subtlety, the simple to the young man, knowledge and discretion.
You see that? To give subtlety to the simple, to the young man, knowledge and discretion. That's what these proverbs, this is what the reason that Solomon wrote these proverbs for, to be able to give the young man discretion, giving him allowing him to be able to make sound judgment throughout his life. But in order for a young man or young woman, because they need discretion as well, our young men, our young women, in order for them to make sound decisions, it's up to those that already have the experience to be able to pass it down. All right, it's up to us to be able to be responsible parents, elders, guardians, whatever influence we have over these children, to be able to pour out wisdom like a fountain into the minds of these children. All right. Proverbs 2 and verse 10.
Proverbs chapter 2 and verse 10. When wisdom entereth into thy heart, and knowledge is pleasant unto your soul.
Read that again.
When wisdom enters into your heart, and knowledge is pleasant unto your soul, discretion shall preserve thee understanding shall keep you.
So in order for that to happen though, like wisdom don't just come out of nowhere. All right, so us maybe bumping our heads growing up, because all of us for the most part is coming out of darkness, and now that we know better, we are making a serious effort to live according to the ways of Yah. And in order for our children not to have to go through the things that we went through growing up, we need to have a serious presence in their life. They're not just gonna pick up the game from out of the thin air. It don't work like that. It takes responsible elders, parents, teachers, preferably parents though, to get our children in line and to keep them in line. All right. So when it says, when wisdom entereth into thine heart and knowledge is pleasant unto thy soul, that has to come from somewhere. The children is not, remember, foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, right? That's what the scripture says. Foolishness is bound in the heart of a child. So if that's the case, what is going to filter this foolishness out? It's going to be, Yah's law, but us teaching them with our presence, Yah's law, right? Proverbs 22:6.
Proverbs chapter 22 and verse 6. Train up a child in the way that he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it.
So it starts when they're young. All right, we want to leave behind children that we know we made a serious effort to instruct, and so that they could get into Yah's kingdom eventually. We want to leave behind righteous children. All right, when they old, they won't depart from it. When we're not present, they won't depart from it. All right, so these instructions will be embedded in their hearts and minds. All right, to the point where they would have, they would be so filled with this instruction that they won't even, before they even think about going to the left or to the right, it'll plague their soul, because they've been brought up a certain way and they've been on that path for so long that even when they have unrighteous thoughts, Yah's law is going to come right into play and take all of that away, right? Deuteronomy 4 and verse 5. Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 5.
Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 5. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as Yahuwah Elohim commanded me that you should do, so in the land when you go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding.
Now hold on, let's pause there. So the Most High, He led the children of Israel out of Egypt. When He led them out of Egypt, first, before He led them out of Egypt, He built their faith up through the miracles that He gave to Moses to take to them, all right, and do in front of Pharaoh. It led to him leading them out of the land of bondage, which is Egypt, coming into the wilderness and teaching them for 40 years. All right, and of course those rebels that wasn't qualified to go into the land, He got rid of them. But for the most part, He made a serious effort to teach them. Right? And so when you think about the Most High, like He's the example that we should look to when parenting, because He led Israel out like as if they were a baby. And I'm going to show that in a moment. But He led Israel out from Egypt with them having no knowledge at all, like they was newborn babies. And them being newborn babies, He was able to make an effort to pour knowledge into them, right? The knowledge being His law. All right, He tried to get them prepared to go into the land by giving them the laws and then having them go in as a righteous family. All right. Where was you at?
Verse 5. Verse 5.
Go ahead.
Verse 6. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes, and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people.
Let's know that. Go to, slide down to 14.
Verse 14, and Yahuwah commanded me at that time to teach you statutes and judgments, that you might do them in the land, whether you go over to possess it.
Right. Go to Deuteronomy 6 and verse 6.
Deuteronomy chapter 6 and verse 6. And these words which I command you this day shall be in your heart, and you shall teach them diligently unto your children, and shall talk of them when thou sittest in thy house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up.
Now look at that. So now, after teaching the first generation or the elders, they got to now teach the children. All right. So this is their heritage. The Most High taught them. They now have to pass this understanding down to the children. All right. While they're children, not wait until they get older and then these children figure they got it out. They got it figured out, and now they start to give pushback. No, while they are children, 3, 4, 5, putting it in them early, little by little, but while they're children, giving them this understanding. All right? It's going to take responsible elders to do that. You want your children not going down the righteous path? Going down the wrong path and going down the righteous path? It's going to take some work. Right? Psalm 127, verse 3.
Psalms 127, verse 3. Lo, children are a heritage of Yahuwah, and the fruit of the womb is his reward.
Look at that. Children are an heritage of Yahuwah, and the fruit of the womb is his reward. It's a reward. So think about like when we instruct our children, we're going to eventually start to talk about things like, the sex, introducing that concept to them. They go out, what if they just never mind what you taught them, and they decide to go out, have sex, unrighteous sex, and, have a baby. They have a baby, and then, God forbid it's somebody's daughter, the young man leave them. But you done instructed them not to go out and engage in this behavior, right? So that will break our hearts as parents. But then what would be even worse though is they going out and having the union with a guy, and we not giving them instruction. At least if we give them instruction and they go do their own will, it would still hurt, but at least we know for a fact that we did what we could to teach them right. All right? But what we want to make sure we do as watchmen, we talked about this last time I was up here, right? The Most High put watchmen over Israel, all right, which was usually people that saw when the enemy was coming, right? But these particular watchmen were prophets. And when the children of Israel started to go off, he would get these prophets and send them because he cared about his children. So likewise, us being parents, we have to be watchmen to our children. All right, and if we're not instructing them, it's going to be a lot of broken hearts because our children is going out here having sex. They're having babies. They can't even take care of themselves, let alone another baby. They catching diseases, stuff like that. Right? So we got to make sure that we give them proper understanding. Now, when we talk about this right here, children are an heritage. So I talked about my son last time, and I'm gonna go into some of that again right now because I hope hope some young kids is hearing this. Like, when you get in these situations and you decide to be disobedient to your parents, the bad decision I made was laying with a woman that I wanted nothing to do with in regards to a relationship, and I didn't even try to find out if that was the right one. Not thinking, got into a situation, had a baby, and then, what one of the conversations was? It was, hey, I think we should have an abortion. Right? That's wicked as hell, right? It's wicked as hell. Because I shouldn't have been laying with her in the first place. And now here I am copping out and trying to get her to have an abortion. Now granted, I did question her judgment as well, but how can I question her judgment when I'm a fornicator? So there's nothing I can say. You know what I mean? And so I decided that I wanted to have an abortion. But see, the whole thing is this. We just read that children are a reward to a couple. So had we been a righteous couple, it wouldn't even been within our conversation. So I should have waited in the first place. I'm not the only one that's thought like that. There's many, many people out here that think like that. That out here prematurely having sex, they think they're not thinking right, and they end up having a baby. Now either they want an abortion or they don't want nothing to do with the woman and child. Breaking that woman's heart. Sometimes the woman, it ain't just the man, it's the woman too, because she shouldn't have laid down with him. Because that was my situation. We didn't get the chance to prove each other to see if we wanted to be with each other for real.
Some of those women don't want nothing to do with me.
Yeah, and some of those women don't want nothing to do with the man. All right, because they might not, they don't like how he conducted himself, which would have been the wise decision before you laid down with him. So why did you lay down with him? So, and we put ourselves in these situations, but the Most High, it just said right here in verse 3, lo, children are an heritage of Yahuwah, and the fruit of the womb is his reward. So when we have an abortion, we're getting rid of the reward that he gave this union. When we do stuff like morning after pill, that's the same thing. You getting rid of the reward that he gave you, or the possible reward if you give a woman a morning after pill. I've done that wickedness too. So it's best to not lay down at all until you know that that's the one. But see, if you're a child, you're really not going to know. You need to be taught, you need some experience, and not just to go and lay with any woman and get your experience up that way, no. But you need to be taught by somebody that's a responsible elder so that you won't go out and make foolish decisions like I did. All right? So remember, the child is a reward of Yahuwah. So anybody that's practicing abortion, these laws we have, they don't care about the rewards of the Most High, further saying something about this society. All right? Keep reading.
Verse 4. As arrows are in the hand of a mighty man, so are children of the youth. Happy is the man that hath his quiver full of them.
Read that again.
Happy is the man that hath his quiver full of them. They shall not be ashamed, but they shall speak with the enemies in the gate.
So the Most High values children. The Most High gives children as a reward to a couple. So keep in mind that it will be best to have a righteous union, and as a result of that righteous union, the Most High give you a reward. So now when you lay down with your wife, who you can actually lay down with, or you lay down with your husband, who you can actually lay down with according to the scriptures, it's not a problem. Me and my wife, as soon as we got married, the Most High blessed her womb. Just about. As soon as like a week later, she conceived, and we was having our first child together because we had a righteous union. And I mean, as soon as we got married, it's real right.
ink wasn't even dry. But the honeymoon is flowing. I do. All right. See y'all later.
Go to Hosea. I'm not going to be before y'all long. Go to Hosea 11:1. Remember, keeping in mind the Most High and how he looked at the children of Israel. Hosea 11 and verse 1.
Hosea chapter 11 and verse 1. When Israel was a child, then I loved him and called my son out of Egypt.
Now this prophecy, this is talking about history, but it's also talking about the Mashiach when he went and hid from Haran. Go back to Exodus 4 and 22. Let's show that about the Most High leading the children, how he viewed the children of Israel. Exodus chapter 4 and verse 22.
Exodus chapter 4 and verse 22. And you shall say unto Pharaoh, thus saith Yahuwah, Israel is my son.
My what?
My son, even my firstborn. And I say unto you, let my son go, that he may serve me. If thou refuse to let him go, behold, I will slay your son, even your firstborn.
Now look at that. So first, look how personal that is. The Most High said, he sent Moshe to Pharaoh and told him to let my son go. Let my son go. Now you got to understand, this is thousands of Israelites that's dwelling in this land. They became a nation in Egypt. Thousands of Israelites. Millions. It was hundreds of thousands of men. So that wasn't even counting women and children. Right? That was in the land. And he said, let my son go. He made it personal. Right? And he said, if you don't let my son go, my firstborn son go, I'm going to slay your firstborn. Now, he could have easily, go read the verse before that. Verse 21.
Verse 21. And Yahuwah said unto Moses, when thou goest to return into Egypt, see that thou do all those wonders before Pharaoh, which I have put in your hand, but I will harden his heart, that he should not let the people go.
Now look at that. So he could have easily got the children of Israel out of captivity. He purposely hardened Pharaoh's heart because he wanted to show his power and authority. He wanted to build the faith of the children of Israel that he was a true God, all right, and not a false idol like what the Egyptians were worshiping. So he was trying to build their faith up. He was also trying to show Moses too, because Moses did not know this God either. He had to build Moses' faith up as well, right? So he could have been got the children of Israel out. It's just that he wanted to show his power and authority, all right? And he made, like I said, he made it personal. Hey, I want you to let my firstborn son go, and if you don't, I'm going to kill your firstborn. Don't that sound like an angry father? Just imagine what would you do if your son was in a situation?
I'm killing you and your probably won't mess with the kids.
But you would be ready to do things that you didn't think you had in you to rescue your children. Or any of your family, for that fact, right? So, just imagine how he feels. This is what he feels. He said, I'm going to kill your firstborn son. He actually said it, and of course he actually did it. Right? And that's the thing. This was all about showing his authority because he, again, like I said, he could have got the children of Israel out. Later on, he ended up actually killing their firstborn. So the Most High had control over the whole situation. But he just wanted to do this for his children, Israel, so that they could see, like, everything that you have been seeing in regards to the gods of these Egyptians ain't got nothing on me. Ain't got nothing on me. And I want y'all to serve me. I'm going to love y'all. I'm going to respect you. I'm going to take care of y'all. I'm I'm going to give you everything you need. And they got a chance to see his power. Unfortunately, in the wilderness, they acted as if his power meant nothing by being disobedient. Right? Go to Exodus 13:2. Let's see how the Most High felt about the firstborn. Exodus 13:2.
Exodus chapter 13 and verse 2. Sanctify unto me all the firstborn, whatsoever openeth the womb among the children of Israel, both of man and of beast, it is mine.
Look at that. Sanctify unto me all the firstborn. Right? Sanctify unto me all the firstborn. Go to Luke 2 and 22.
Luke chapter 2 and verse 22. And when the days of her purification according to the law of Moses were accomplished.
Now this is about the Mashiach. Mary is now been cleansed from her birth to a man-child, right? So now she has to go and do something. Read.
And when the days of her purification according to the law of Moses were accomplished, they brought him to Jerusalem to present him to the master, as it is written in the law of the master, every male that openeth the womb shall be called Kodesh to the master, and to offer a sacrifice according to that which is said in the law of the master, a pair of turtle doves or 2 young pigeons.
So that's what they were supposed to offer up for the Mashiach. So him being the firstborn that opened the womb, the firstborn man-child, they had to go to Jerusalem and make this sacrifice for him after she was purified. All right. Give me Deuteronomy 28. All right. So now, think about like this. After you've raised your children up, after you've taught them and spent time with them, and they decide to go off and do their thing, how do you treat your children after that? Like, you raised them up in righteousness, you made an earnest effort to put them on the right path according to this word. What happens now that they go out and your young daughter have a baby, or your son have a baby, your son go out and committing, robberies, and he breaking all of Yah's commandments? He's an idolater because he glorified money and the material things more than his relationship with the Most High. How do you treat him? What are we supposed to do in that situation? What would some of y'all do?
But when he was around with me, stepped out of line or anything, I always bestow him that there's rules to every outcome. So when you go out and do these certain things, I always try to break down different scenarios for them to understand. So as he get older, his decision will be his outcome. But I wouldn't disown him or anything. I would still do the same procedures, but I would adapt and evolve my mentality to his age on a different level of that scale to reiterate the same scenarios.
Right, that's understood. And the Most High dealt with the children of Israel like that too. He dealt with them according to how they conducted themselves. He showed them what righteousness was about, and they made their choice ultimately, right? So Deuteronomy 28 and verse 15. That ain't messing.
Come on.
Come on.
Go ahead. shall what?
And it shall come to pass, if you will not listen unto the voice of Yahuwah your Elohim to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command you this day, that all these curses shall come upon you and overtake you.
Right.
See, the Lord is going to kill you.
Look, now, I'm going here. Going here to show you that the Most High, He gave it. Now, this is why they still in the wilderness. So He's getting them prepared to go into the land. So they go into the land. Now, when you go into this land, this is what He's telling them. If you are disobedient, curses is going to come upon you. All right, curses is going to come upon you. Drop down to 45. Let's get some of those curses.
Love y'all brothers, man. Y'all know that. Y'all.
Drop down to, verse 45.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 45. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon you, and shall pursue you, and overtake you, so thou beest destroyed, because thou hearkenest or listenest not unto the voice of Yahuwah your Elohim, to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded you. And they shall be upon you for a sign and for a wonder, and upon your seed forever, because thou servest not Yahuwah your Elohim with joyfulness and with gladness of heart, for the abundance of all things. Therefore shalt thou serve your enemies, which Yahuwah shall send against you.
Look at that. Hold on. You're going to serve your enemies, which Yahuwah shall send against you. All right? So you was disobedient, breaking my laws, and disrespecting my heritage that I gave you. All right, here, I'm going to send them. You wanted to be like the other nations? All right, here, you go ahead and be up under them. All right, keep reading.
Therefore shalt thou serve your enemies, which Yahuwah shall send against you in hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon your neck, until he have destroyed you. Yahuwah shall bring the nation against you from far, from the ends of the earth, as America, as swift as the eagle flies.
That's who?
As America.
Who you know with the eagle? Come on.
Swift as the eagle flies, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
We came over here speaking Hebrew. Okay?
Verse 50.
These are jokes, man. Lighten up. Lighten up.
A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of old, nor show favor to the young.
Look at that. So we'll go, and I just went through some of these curses, but we'll go, and it'll be many, many other curses. Like, we'll see our children go into captivity. So our forefathers saw their children go into captivity because of their disobedience. They saw their king go into captivity. They saw all the important men of their land either go into captivity or get killed. Stuff like that was happening. And that's a curse unto the nation because of disobedience. So the same way that Yahuwah punished them like his child, because what he ended up doing is exiling them through him bringing these other nations up. He used the other nations to pretty much to whoop us when you think about it. Don't that sound like a father or a mother that bring the thunder when you get out of line? Now at this time, these is future conditional prophecies. I say future conditional because this stuff hadn't happened to the children of Israel yet. They had a choice, right? As a matter of fact, let's see, they had a choice. Go to Deuteronomy 15 and 1. No, excuse me, Deuteronomy 28 and verse 1.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if you shall not listen diligently unto the voice of Yahuwah.
Deuteronomy 28 and verse 1.
Oh, really?
No, it says not.
And it shall come to pass, if you shall hearken. You want verse 1?
Yeah, you said
it shall come to pass, if you shall hearken diligently unto the voice of Yahuwah your Elohim, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command you this day, that Yahuwah your Elohim will set you on high above all nations of the earth. All these blessings shall come on thee, and overtake thee, if thou shalt listen unto the voice of Yahuwah your Elohim.
Look at that. So now, the blessings, if we are righteous now, so that means we had a choice. It didn't have to be curses. It could have been blessings. And notice how he says in verse 2, it says, and all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee. A blessing shall overtake you, right? So just like the nations that he was going to send will overtake us into captivity, now these blessings will overflow and overtake us, right? So we will be getting blessed through our land, our stores, the fruit of our womb, our wives' wombs will be blessed, stuff like that. Our children will be blessed. So these blessings will overtake us, it said. All right, so we had a choice. All right, the Most High, our Father, gave us a choice. And it's no different than when we lay down the law at home and we give our children a choice. You can go this route, but if you go this route, there's going to be consequences. Or you can go this route. You can get those good grades, and you can go to school, you can stay away from the games, you can stay away from the drugs, and I'll give you whatever you want. All right? Get good grades, I'm going to give you X amount of dollars for every A you get. Right? It happens. You go this route, I'm putting you out. You're getting out my house. You got a choice. Parents do that. Righteous parents would lay down a law like that. When you get your life together, I'm going to be right there waiting on you. Right?
You should give them a beat before they leave, though.
I will.
Hey,
No, you kick them out. Don't do that first.
whoop first.
But see, the thing is, after a while, that ain't going. You might get exhausted of that because you might be already doing that. Laying, putting hands on them, and then you're gonna keep doing that, and they not getting it. Now you gotta do something else. You gotta put them out.
I'm still putting hands on.
You do that. Why break your hand when it ain't, when it ain't effective?
Hey, that heals. They got to get it. The rod, it gonna happen. Yahuwah got that rod. We know about it. Our backside hurt for a long time before we had to get up out of there.
Got to keep in mind, we in captivity because of disobedience. Our fathers allowed these nations to come upon us and overtake us, and as a result of that, we are in captivity. So with that being said, he's been like a father, but guess what? He's gonna allow us to come back. He was merciful to send the Mashiach, right? He was merciful to send the Lamb to be able to deliver us, right? So that's the mercy. It shows you that he got mercy. It ain't all just him laying down the laws, right? But even in captivity, though, keep this in mind. Like, go to Ezekiel 11:16. Oh, go ahead, bro. Oh, okay. Yeah. Ezekiel 11:16.
Ezekiel 11:16. Therefore say, thus saith the Master Elohim, although I have cast them far off from among the heathens, and although I have scattered them among the countries, yet will I be to them a little sanctuary in the countries where they shall come.
Right. So he said that he's going to be, so that's still him still being with us. So while we in the diaspora, in captivity, we turn back to him, he's going to be right there. He's still going to be with us. He's not going to just fully do away with us, right? Deuteronomy 30 and verse 1. Let's see what we got to do in order for our Father to deliver us, to come back and get us. Deuteronomy 30.
Deuteronomy chapter 30 and verse 1. And it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon you, the blessings and the curses which I have set before you, and you shall call them to mind among all the nations, whether Yahuwah Elohim have driven you, and shall return unto Yahuwah Elohim, and shall obey his voice, according to all that I command you this day, and you and your children with all your heart and with all your soul, that then Yahuwah Elohim will turn your captivity and have compassion upon you.
Now look at that. So while they in captivity, right? Remember, we just read that he's going to be as a little sanctuary while we're in captivity. So we turn back toward him. He's going to eventually have mercy on us and deliver us out of these captivities. Our Father will allow us back into the house. All right? He threw us out of the house when we was breaking his laws. Our Father is going to allow us back into the house. Right? But keep in mind, did he just go from 0 to 100? He did 30 first, right? He did 30 first. Right? He didn't just go from 0 to 100. As soon as we sin, we out of the land. So what y'all liken that to? Him going to 30 first. What did he do? What am I talking about?
Slow to anger.
Say what?
Slow to anger. Him sending prophets, though. Because the prophets was him showing the mercy at that point. What they do to the prophets? They killed them. Let's show the Most High's mercy real quick. Go to Hosea 11 and verse 2.
Hosea 11 and verse 2. As they called them, so they went from them. They sacrificed unto Baalim and burned incense to graven images.
Now this is the children of Israel in the land going off. He's actually talking to the northern kingdom at this point. Go ahead.
I taught Ephraim also to go, taking them by their arm, but they knew not that I healed them. I drew them with cords of a man, with bands of love, and I was to them as they that take off the yoke on their jaws, and I laid meat unto them.
So look, he talking about how when he delivered them. Now, of course, when the children of Israel was one, he delivered them all. But he's referencing Ephraim at this point. So when he's talking about delivering Ephraim, he's referencing the deliverance out of Egypt. But Ephraim is the one that's going off at this point, right? Go ahead and read.
He shall not return into the land of Egypt, but the Assyrians shall be his king, because they refuse to return.
So because the northern kingdom refused to return and be obedient, he sent the king of Assyria to take them out of the land. This is one of the belts I was talking about that the Most High used to whoop the children of Israel. All right, the northern kingdom went into Assyrian captivity. Go ahead.
As the sword shall abide on his cities, and shall consume his branches, and devour them because of their own counsels. And my people are bent to backsliding from me, though they called them to the Most High, none at all would exalt him.
Look at that. So he sent prophets. Hosea is a prophet. He sent them. This is him showing mercy by actually making an effort to get them to turn back when he don't even have to do that. Consider Moses, how he had to intervene. The Most High was merciful then. The Most High was merciful, allowing the Mashiach to bring them back, though the remnant of those that would believe on him. He showed mercy at that point, right? Let's get some more. Jeremiah 22 and verse 1. Verse 7. 1. Jeremiah 22 and verse 1.
Jeremiah chapter 22 and verse 1. Thus saith Yahuwah, go down to the house of the king of Judah, and speak there this word, and say, hear the word of Yahuwah, O king of Judah, that sittest upon the throne of David, thou and thy servants and your people that enter in by these gates.
Now look, Jeremiah is a prophet at the time where the Most High is getting ready to send the southern kingdom into Babylonian captivity. So Jeremiah is in charge of going and making them understand what wrong that they did. So he's on this big task. He's sending them to these people. He's speaking to all the people at times and letting them know that you have to turn away from your wickedness. When you study the whole book of Jeremiah, you'll see that he's doing a lot of warning before the Most High just finally gets tired of it and sends the king of Babylon to him. Keep reading.
Thus saith Yahuwah, execute you judgment and righteousness, and deliver the spoil out of the hand of the oppressor, and do no wrong, do no violence to the stranger, the fatherless, nor the widow, neither shed innocent blood in this place. For if you do this thing indeed, then shall there enter in by the gates of this house kings sitting upon the throne of David, riding in chariots and on horses, he and his servants and his people.
Look at that. So now, if they continue to do righteous judgment, execute righteous judgment, deliver the spoiled out of the hand of the oppressor, and do no wrong, do no violence to the stranger, the fatherless, nor the widow, neither shed innocent blood in this place. These people were doing these things. These people were murderers. They was low-key like predators when you think about it, because how is you oppressing somebody that's like a widow or a fatherless child? That's like a predator, somebody that can't really fend for themselves, right? Not a sexual predator, but a predator because of how they doing somebody that's weak, right? Our forefathers did that. So now the Most High sending Jeremiah, being a good father, overlooking his children's activities and not being pleased with them, is giving them fair warning. We as parents have to emulate that. We have to copy that. We have to make sure that we are giving our children fair warning. See, he didn't go from 0 to 100 here. He doing 30. He doing 30, and they don't get it. They don't get it. Keep reading.
Verse 5, but if you will not hear these words, I swear by myself, saith Yahuwah, that this house shall become a desolation.
Look at that. So he did nothing right now. They got an opportunity. They chose otherwise. They prideful. They don't want to hear their father. They dishonoring their father. Right? Think about what the script, what Exodus 20 is talking about. It's talking about honor your father and mother, so you may live long in the land your Elohim is giving you. They're not honoring their father at this point. So therefore they can't live long in the land. They was never supposed to leave the land of Israel. But because of their wickedness, they end up getting cast out of the land, northern and southern kingdom. Think about that. It wasn't even supposed to be split if it wasn't for Solomon's ignorance. Right? Keep reading.
Verse 6, for thus saith Yahuwah unto the kings, house of Judah, you are Gilead unto me, and the head of Lebanon. Yet surely I will make thee a wilderness, and cities which are not inhabited. I will prepare destroyers against you, every one with his weapon, and they shall cut down your choice cedars and cast them into the fire. And many nations shall pass by this city, and they shall say, every man to his neighbor, wherefore have Yahuwah done thus unto this great city?
Look at that. So now, because of their disobedience and their ignorance, the children of Israel is now with a bad name, because nations is passing by that know for a fact they know for a fact, not even being a part of the children of Israel, that this was a great nation and that God took care of them. And now they're not only with a bad name, but they're giving the Most High a bad name. All right? They're giving him a bad name because when they made a covenant with the Most High, they decided to be righteous for a while, they sinned, and then that ultimately leads to people not believing that the Most High exists. It gives him a bad name at this point. Like when Moses had to, look at it like this, when Moses had to warn the Most High not to get rid of all the children of Israel and to bring a nation through him, he had to do that thinking about the Most High's name. How would that look? Ultimately, the goal is to see that he's the only true God. Yeah, he picked a nation to represent that by picking the children of Israel, who was promised to Abraham, and giving them laws and showing them how to live righteously. But ultimately, the ultimate goal is to show that he's the only God in the earth, in heaven and earth, that need to be worshipped, and not these other gods. All right, you have to understand. After the flood, Noah was the most righteous man on the earth. The most righteous man. His children, the reason his children was delivered was because of him. Everybody in the house, he was totally over his house. The Most High saw something in him. This man was righteous. Those, after the flood, these men, Ham, Shem, and Japheth, went and established their lands. They had understanding of the Most High. But over a course of time, what they do, they started worshiping the other gods. This is why when you look into those cultures and you look into some of the things that they worship, it's always some type of story. It's always a flood story in all of these cultures, but it's always some type of reference toward the Most High. You'll always see some parallel to the Bible. Not fully, but it's something there that be like, okay, I've seen that in the scriptures before. It's because of Noah instructing his sons and instructed his sons' sons about the Most High, that told him to build that ark and to allow him to be able to make it over the flood. Right? And that's how a father's supposed to do. Pour down wisdom of the Most High into the minds and hearts of our children while they're young. Is it going to be a lot of work? Absolutely it is. But it needs to happen. Because if we leave a child to themselves, they're going to go pick up understanding from the wrong people. And as I said when I was up here a few weeks ago, what's going to end up happening is somebody else going to end up raising their children. Somebody else going to, they're going to become their father. And you ain't going to know what's happening. You know how they're going to become their father? Because they're giving them some understanding that appears to be good to the child who already don't have little to no knowledge. They're giving them something that appears to be good and making it like it's all right when it's not. And so that person becomes their father. That happened to me. Wrong people was in my ear. Wrong people, when I was growing up, they're making it like certain things is all right, and it's not. Teaching you to be a fornicator, teaching you that stealing is all right, teaching you that violence is all right. You know what I mean? And they leaning on their own understanding because they don't have understanding of the Most High. They teaching your children how to be unrighteous. But of course the children don't know because the father and the mother is absentee. Let me tell y'all something. Parents can be absentee and be in the house. Did y'all know that? Parents can be absentee and be in the house because you have a father that's always working. You will have a mother that's probably always working or got her own things going on and not attending to the child. All right, they give the child, you talk about wealthy families. Leave the children, they don't leave the children, but they give the children all the space and time. There's no instruction given to the child. They're giving them all these gadgets. They're giving them this, they're giving them that. And what the child end up doing, because he got friends that don't got no understanding. Now he got access to all of these things. He can go look at whatever he wants. Fights online, on World Star, whatever this garbage they got going on. Pornography, this, that, TikTok, all day. And that's in their minds all day.
said like the rich people when they do that to their kids.
Rich people, yeah, they do that.
That's called modern day parenting. It has no financial nothing to it. That's modern day parenting. Kids crying, shut them up, give them something to do. Get them a phone, get them a tablet, get them something that make noise and they can go online and watch YouTube and watch. That's modern day parenting. And right now, he giving you the formula to how to screw up your child. And a lot of us have failed at that because we thought we were coming up with something different to, give them in between time. Nah, it's screwing them up. A lot of times, by the time they 10, 11 years old, 12 years old, they already done. Their mind's already made up on what they want to do, how they going to do it, because we gave them the blueprint. We gave them another parent. We gave it to them in the form of a device. Here's your new father. Here's your new mother. Go on there and learn as much as you want to learn. Modern day parenting.
That's exactly that. And they don't necessarily, and that's the thing, I mentioned rich because I wanted to mention the most extreme when it comes to the quote-unquote modern day parenting, because they have the resources to be able to give their children, but yet they're not willing to give them the knowledge of the Most High, because they probably don't have it, or any wisdom that will keep them at least partially on the right path. They're not sitting down and spending time with them, figuring out what's going on in their life. Maybe because some things happened in the past that they didn't like what their parents did. So now they be like, you know what, when I grow up and have my children, I'm going to be like this. Not knowing that, no, your mother and father had it right. What you doing is off. And you passing it down to your children, and now it's a big cycle, right? So, I'm gonna wrap it up there. But I wanted to line me back off what I was talking about.
Hold on.
Line me back.
We don't eat swine. Do you? I hope y'all ain't eat no swine, did you? Line me back. You know what I'm talking about? You ain't eat no swiggity up in here, is it? Line me back.
All in favor for starting to say "Land me back," say aye.
Aye.
That's sweet. That's sweet.
My wife always making fun of my slang.
He-bonics. That's what we're going to call it. He-bonics.
Elder Martin would know what line back
Man. It's just
Piggyback.
Yeah.
Line me back.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. We don't eat no swine. We don't eat no swigging. But yeah, hopefully we, I just wanted to, land me back off what I went into, the last time I was up here. I ain't holding y'all long, but I just felt like, that's a serious topic. Like I said, I got another little one on the way, and, I've just been thinking in depth about these things. So, I'm gonna digress here. Shabbat shalom.
Yes. So, Congress just a couple of years back said that we chose slavery. And it was a big uproar about that. Was he right or wrong?
He was absolutely right.
Wow. Why was everybody so mad at him?
Hypocrisy. Hypocrisy. Respect her as a person. He didn't have a beard on his face. He was wrong. He ain't had no fringes up.
How was he wrong? Explain.
Well, the children of Israel were kidnapped and being bred to be servants. All the parents were killed off. All the children were taken particular ages. Then they were bred like cattle. So no, we didn't choose it. The people that had the ability to make the choice was killed.
So when he said "we," was he talking about you and me today?
He said we chose slavery.
I'm asking. Was he talking about me and you?
I don't know. I didn't see it. I'm going off what Bob said.
Was he talking about us today when he said we?
Based on what Paul said, I'm thinking he's talking about the beginning.
So he's not even talking about you,
He's not
the
talking about
product, right? He ain't talking about the people that got snatched up, the product, right? When we had a choice to choose as a nation,
Okay,
we
yeah,
chose.
I would agree with that.
Okay, thank you.
I was gonna say, he wasn't even thinking about it in that light. I think he was thinking about it more of like he physically wanted to choose slavery. Like, I don't think he even understood the scripture part of it, but he was right in that light.
Based on
He absolutely was right. Like I teach all the time, this stuff is self-inflicted.
based on the understanding that he just came all the way, y'all seen the interview, right? He know a little something more than what he put on tonight. You know what I'm saying? Trying to reiterate to the people, oh, we the people, we the blood, this and that. The slaves were children of Israel. He knows something.
With that in mind, before he even was saying that, I was calling hypocrisy on everybody that was condemning him in that moment. And it only took like a week to have vindication, because a week later he was in Uganda freestyling about being from the tribe of Judah and part of the 144,000. So I definitely think he had that on his mind when he made the statement. And I think part of the reason why everybody was calling him crazy is because all of the opposition to his statement, 100% of the time, they were speaking according to the flesh. And they were assuming he too was speaking according to the flesh. But in reality, he wasn't, which is what made him sound so, in my opinion, what made him seem to sound so crazy to all of them. Because all of the choices that they would present to him, like, oh, you must not know history. Matt Turner led one of the greatest revolts. It wasn't the only of the revolts. It was all the choices they was talking about that we made that didn't work. None of those were ever said will work. And he kept talking about the one thing that would, but it was like he was speaking in code language that you had to be in the spirit to receive. Even a lot of the Israelites that were professed to be, they didn't get it until a week later, and he was freestyling about being part of the 144,000. Then they was like, oh, you know we do read Deuteronomy 28 every weekend. Maybe he read that too. It's a choice right there between the top half and the second half. So I think he was thinking about it for sure, but it just went over the heads of the people that's just so caught up in the flesh.
Yeah, it's called a double entendre.
Yeah. He's a rapper too, so.
Yeah, it's a double entendre. I'm giving you something for face value for you to soak up. Then after I give you something in the forefront, if you have the mind, right? If you have the intellect, the wherewithal, you'll be able to catch the other bar that I'm spitting at you at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Was the question, was Kanye right or was he wrong?
Yeah, I asked the question about, after his lesson that he just went through, he showed the passages that says if you choose this, I'm going to give you this.
Right.
If you do this, this is going to take place on you.
Okay.
So we, as a people that went into slavery, Kanye West said that slavery was a choice. I asked, was he right or was he wrong?
Yeah, he was 100% right. When you look at the law, statutes, and commandments, every law is telling us how to gain independence and how to gain power and how to gain strength for your people. So whenever we break the law, statutes, and commandments, we're diminishing everything that we have. Exodus chapter 23, verse 32 says, don't make no deals with the heathens. Don't make no deals with the Gentiles or deal with their gods, or it's going to be a snare unto you. So we ended up doing that, and it became a snare unto us. You know, so that was the first step where we went off, because what they're going to teach us is how to serve their gods, and that's exactly what we did, and that's exactly how we came into the condition that we in today.
Absolutely. A choice.
It's a choice.
That's what everybody says. Oh, y'all, nobody's died or anything like this or sick. And you say, y'all pray for me. What is that? What is that?
Say it again.
Doing?
Say it again.
Nobody's died or nothing, or sick with the whatever it be. almost every day he'll say, pray for me. What is happening? What are you doing? It's something that you are doing that's causing you to have to say this all the time. Again, nobody's dead or sick or something, and you just constantly do that. There's something with the person. It's self-inflicted. Again, when we go back through these curses, a lot of this stuff we like the feeling. As sick as it is, we like these different feelings, to be mad, to be all these things. We kind of enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? It's sick, but it is what it is. Go ahead.
My question is with Kanye, I didn't know that was the angle he was coming from. I just heard him say it, but he never explain. At least I never heard him explain where he was coming from. So that's why people got hit with him a lot. They don't know what he was talking about because he say so stupid stuff. So a lot of people don't understand what Kanye's talking about. Okay? You know that, and so at the end of the day, I didn't even pay no attention because he say so much stupid stuff that I didn't even entertain it.
So one of the things that when we first really come into being an Israelite, the most scripture that is read to us is what? Deuteronomy 28, which talks about the choice. So how does all these people that talk about the curses, that go on the streets week after week after week, month after month after month, year after year after year, know about this choice, about choosing these things? How they don't know? How they don't know? They know. But again, the truth don't hurt. Accepting the truth is what hurts. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at your own conditions, know that it's you. It's you doing it. It's you. It's your choice. You are choosing this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Again, with relationships, whatever it be, the red flags, we knock them down and act like we don't see them. And then when it comes on us, oh my God, y'all pray for me. Why? You already knew it up front. It's a choice. You're choosing to do this stuff. You know what I'm saying? We gotta stop that.
It seems as though he realized what he went through and he's trying to like indirectly give you some tools to catch on, because he already did what he did and now he's trying to put the word out, explain it to you, but he's like subliminally trying to do it because he had other issues that occurred if he goes too far.
Right.
That's how I feel. Which is history repeating itself.
Absolutely.
And we do it time and time again each day, each year.
Yep, be with you guys.
And even I don't even think he was coming from that point of view, like before the slave ship point of view. I think that he was coming from the point of view of that even in slavery, not really realizing that the power that we had, like if we rose up, like kind of on that Nat Turner type deal. That's how it kind of came across to me, that he was making that point that if we came together and rose up, we had more power than we realized, but we made the choice to be subjected to slavery as opposed to fight back.
That's why I said it's a devil out of time. Because in the present, he's giving you the physical. He's telling you, it's 40 of us, it's one of them.
It's like the same analogy Quab always makes with the horse, or the, you know what I'm saying? Like, he don't realize that he's much more powerful than you.
Exactly.
And he lets you control him.
That's what I caught with the devil out of time. Like we're choosing. Like it's 40 of us, it's one of him, but we all subject to him based on the buck break. You know what I mean? Not that we didn't know, not that we didn't think in our mind that, ooh, if I just crank that so upside the head, it ain't that those thoughts didn't come in our mind. We didn't act on it as a unit a lot of times. Then I'm gonna come up with something, you know.
I say one thing you forget, like the whole nation was like that. Everybody knew slaves were going to masters, so
Yeah.
And then the whole city. So it's like they know they're gonna end up back in phase one, so it's a little bit more harder for people to
But as a collective, imagine if that next door slave owner slaves did the same thing as them slaves, and them slaves did the same thing as them slaves, and them slaves, and you got what we call a revolt. But that's the mentality. You know what I'm saying? Typically, if I want to revolt, right, but the person that's next to me is scared to die, I'm gonna be by myself, revolt, and I'm just gonna die. You know what I'm saying?
I want y'all to look at a short documentary on YouTube called The Jones Plantation. If you get a chance, please watch that. It'll make you understand a lot of how our people think, the program that you got.
To bring it full circle about what we saying double entendre, obviously we know Deuteronomy 28, 1 through 14 is the choice we could have made to not activate 15 through 68, which got us, on ships scattered. Now, the generation that had babies born into the mouths of alligators, all the way up to us, it's a double entendre because it's still a choice now. So when we automatically assume it's choices that were exercised and didn't work like everybody else did, it's showing a negligence to the gospel that we supposed to be ambassadors to. So when people, whoever they are, bring this conversation up, like with the Kanye West situation, he kept saying love. He got called even more of a coon. But that's because people look to the Christian church's definition of love when the whole time we reminded people what love really is. So if we remember the choice that we could have been chose, that we still haven't chose, which is what's giving us the same result. We got to remember Leviticus 26, 40 to 42. If they shall confess their iniquity and the iniquity of their fathers with their trespass, which they trespassed against me, and that also they have walked contrary unto me, and that I also have walked contrary unto them, and have brought them into the land of their enemies. If then their uncircumcised hearts be humbled, and they then accept of the punishment of their iniquity, then I will remember my covenant with Jacob, and also my covenant with Isaac, and also my covenant with Abraham. Will I remember, and I will remember the land. So repentance is the choice we have always had, and we got to look at the spiritual warfare side of this thing, that the enemy may try to offer you the world to get you to sell out. He might impose hell upon you to get you to punk out. You can't break either way though. You know what I'm saying? Love is what? The law, that it not be grievous. So at the end of the day, yeah, like that message, like he said, is a double entendre, and we had a choice. We always have choice.
Absolutely. Proverbs 1 and 22.
This is Proverbs chapter 1, verse 22. How long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity? And the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge.
What is he saying here? How long will you love simplicity? Right? He says, scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge. So the thing that sent them off, right, is what they are wallowing in. They're enjoying themselves in their calamity. When I'm being a fool, obviously I hate knowledge, but I enjoy not having knowledge. When I'm scorning or being a scorner, I am enjoying it, so I'm not pulling myself out of it. When we were in our folly after he gave us the commandments, we enjoyed our folly. We basked in our folly. We enjoyed it, all right? So check this out. Keep reading.
Verse 23. Turn you at my reproof.
Just like we was talking about with the progression of that anger, right? Yo, y'all need to come ahead and cut it out. He says, turn at my reproof. When you talk to your sons and your daughters about doing wrong, right? At a certain point in time, you start to see that they enjoy doing what they're doing. When they disobeying you, even though they right in front of you, they're like, oh no, I'm sorry, or they crying in front of you, you know that they enjoy doing what they're doing. When I was a child, and I was out there doing my 1-2, I enjoyed doing my 1-2. I didn't like getting caught, but I enjoyed doing it, right? Come on.
I will pour out my spirit unto you.
He said, I'm going to do what?
I will pour out my spirit unto you.
I'm going to give myself to you. I'm going to pour out my rule out to you. Turn in my reproof. I'm giving myself to you. Come on.
I will make known my words unto you.
And I'm going to make my words known to you. I'm going to do everything in my power to transform your actions. Everything. Think about your own life. Think about the stuff that, like Paul was talking about. You say, pray for me about it. It's not that you don't know. It's not that he didn't show you the way. It's not that he didn't show you which way to go. We know. We all know. We're not children anymore. We all know. Right or wrong? Okay, let's see what he says today.
Because I have called and you refused.
Because I what?
Because I have called and you refused.
You knew when he told you don't. You knew when he told you stop. You knew when he told you get away. And then you yourself did what? You refused. You didn't refuse to, no, y'all, I'm not about to stop. You didn't do it like that. You didn't say it out of your mouth. You did it in your actions. Sometimes if we call ourselves out on our own folly, sometimes we turn around from us. Right? Read.
Because I have called and you refused, I have stretched out my hand and no man regards.
I said, here, let me help you. And you smacked it away. You don't even care. I'm trying to bring you out of the situation. Because he is our Father. Right? You don't see your child in folly or see him going through stuff and just leave him there. You don't do that. Your first knee-jerk reaction is, let me help get them out of this. Right? A mother's love for her child, if she hears that her child is in trouble with some sort. Matter of fact, when you got in trouble in school and your teacher said you was talking back, the first thing your parent might do is jump to your defense. Well, what was said to him? Well, what did you do? I don't know. I need to talk to my son. Can I talk to my baby? That's the knee-jerk reaction. That's what Yahuwah is showing me. His knee-jerk reaction is to defend you in your folly. Right? But if you turn away from him trying to defend you or help you or guide you, what you think gonna come out of that? Come on.
Verse 25. But ye have set at naught all my counsel.
You did what?
Ye have set at naught all my counsel.
What is set at naught? What is he saying? You made it nothing. Everything that I gave to you, everything that I taught you, everything that I'm trying to do to help you, you're setting it at nothing. It don't mean nothing to you. Y'all hold it down. Y'all hold it down. It don't mean nothing to you. Hold it down. Yo. It don't mean nothing to you. Right? Come on.
And would none of my reproof.
And you didn't want none of my reproof. What's reproof? It's like correction, right? You didn't even want it. Why are you whooping me? Why are you so mad at me? I just want to go out. Why I can't stay out till 1 in the morning? Why I can't go out with this person and go out with that person? Why I can't do? You didn't even want my reproof. You didn't want my correction. You couldn't see what I saw. You couldn't see that you was going to end up pregnant. You couldn't see that boy was going to break your heart. You couldn't see that little girl didn't like you. She just wanted your money. You couldn't see that the dudes that you was hanging around was plotting on you the whole time. You couldn't see it. You didn't want my reproof. You didn't want my correction. Come on.
I also will laugh at your calamity.
Now he said, I'm going to laugh at you. I gave you everything from me to help you. Everything. I gave it all to you. And now you in trouble. He said, I'm going to laugh at you. Read.
I will mock when your fear comes.
How would it feel when if the Father of the heavens is laughing at you because of what you're going through? Huh? Anybody ever think of that for themselves? Like, I'm going through turmoil. You really think the Most High, in our minds, like, oh, son, oh, daughter, it's going to be okay. I'm going to get you out of this on the other side. Just go through this a little bit. That's what we think in our mind. But according to this, if he done tried to show you over and over and over again, what are you doing? You're stupid. I tried to tell you. Hey, you sure? You look at me. You stupid. I tried. Did you see last week? I told the same thing. They got shot the last time he went over there. He won't go back. Yeah, the Most High laughing. We look at our enemies like the Most High laughing at our enemies, not realizing we an enemy of him if we ain't doing what he say do. Come on. He said, I'm going to laugh at your calamity. Well,
I also will laugh at your calamity.
Then I will do what?
I will mock when your fear comes.
Oh, you scared now. You was big and bad 5 minutes ago. You thought you had it down pat, huh? You thought thought you loved that girl. You thought she loved you. Stupid. I'm a mom. Come on.
When your fear comes as desolation,
Uh-huh.
and your destruction comes as a whirlwind.
Wait, what?
When your destruction comes as a whirlwind.
When you don't know what to do, your destruction is all around you. He gonna mock and laugh at you because I tried to prevent this from happening to you. I tried. This one, mama actually keep you in jail after she told you to stop hanging around with the niggas. She told you to stop. And you kept on doing it. No, let me sit on it. Mama, I just need some bail. But bail who? You better work your bail money up in there. That's what mama fed up. Them type of mamas don't exist no more for real. Huh? Twos and fews. Right? Because everybody want to be their child's friend all the time. Salvation is real. So is the pit. It ain't always about hunky-dory being good fellows with one another. Sometimes you gotta hold people accountable. You gotta hold the children accountable. Same thing with one another. It ain't always smiles and handshakes. Sometimes you gotta put them to the side and say, hey man, what's going on with you? Come on.
When distress and anguish comes upon you, then shall they call upon me.
Then that's the same thing. Can y'all pray for me? Now you want the prayers of the righteous to avail much after you done got in your pocket. Now you want to follow the text. Right? Now we run to our parents. Oh, hey, it burned when I pee. Huh? You don't know what else to do. Now you calling out for the person you don't can help you. She told you the whole time. Don't be messing around out there in these streets. Come on, boy. And then she laughed at you all the way there. Stupid, I told you. Stop messing around with your parents. Right? Am I lying or what? Same thing with the abortion thing. Same thing. It's all the same. The process is all the same. We know better but don't do better because we have fun in our folly. But that a mama, it burned. It's actually, and one of those breaths can be, hey Father, I'm dying. Can you help me? Didn't I tell you to stay away from that? Come on.
The rest of verse 28. Then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer.
But I ain't gonna what?
But I will not answer.
You need to be calling on him while you're in his good graces. Don't be trying to call on him when you get in the bottom of the pit of your trouble. Because you knew he was there the whole time before you got there. Come on.
They shall seek me early.
They shall what?
They shall seek me early.
Why they gonna seek him early now? Because they know he was available early before. He told you he was the dude. You already knew to seek him early, but now you're gonna wait till you're in trouble to go seek him early. Come on.
But they shall not find me.
But they what?
But they shall not find me.
He gonna get ghosts on you. He said, I turned my head away from you. Don't none of us want to ever think that when we pray into the Most High that he ain't going to hear us. We don't never want to think that because he the Almighty Elohim. He going to forgive us for anything. We as adults think that because we think like that about our parents. Huh? I talked to a lady 2 weeks ago. She said, you know what makes it easy for me to believe in God the way I do? This one I'm talking about, a devout believer. Right? I won't even call her a Christian because she won't call herself a Christian, but she go to a Christian church. Right? She speak on how she keep the commandments, all that different type of stuff. She just go fellowship when she fellowship. You know what she said? She said it make it easy for me to believe in the Most High so much because my father never told me a lie. She said my father never told me a lie. He was the perfect example of a man. And then my thought process was like, dang, her father never told her a lie? That can't be true. Why you say that, Trav? Because you done told your kids a lie. Right? But the reason she believed how she believed and trusted the Most High how she trusted him is because her father was the example. The Most High gave us the best example that we could ever have. But we take it for granted. Come on.
But they shall not find me, for that they hated knowledge.
They what?
They hated knowledge.
You hated what I tried to tell you. You thought because I was older than you as your parent that I didn't know better. You thought it was different now. I don't like the times is different now. We ain't doing no. You thought I was stupid, didn't you? Come on.
And did not choose the fear of Yahuwah.
He said you didn't choose the what?
Did not choose the fear of Yahuwah.
What does it mean to choose the fear of you? What's that word fear right there? Come on, somebody get it real quick. Reverence, respect. Just like we don't respect our parents. Just like we didn't respect our parents. We didn't choose to respect and honor them, and we end up getting in a whole heap of trouble. Right? Come on, finish it up.
They would none of my counsel. They despise all my reproof. Therefore shall they eat of the fruit of their own way, and be filled with their own devices. For the turning away of the simple shall slay them.
He said, you're going to eat of your own way. Your own devices. What you set out to do, you're going to receive that as a reward. So if you was a parent and you was out here acting a plump fool and you ain't listening to your parents, and your kids come up under you and you see them doing the same thing you did to your parents, you welcome. The rewards go both ways. It can be for your good, it can be for your detriment. You welcome. Now we got to make it right. Oh, I ain't gonna do my kids like that when they grow older. How did you turn out? Come on, man. I ain't gonna whoop my kids for everything, and your child gonna be a son of hell, daughter of hell. Play with the book, tell you what to do. Play with it if you want to. These is instructions for life and salvation, everlasting. Make your own way up if you want to, and you're gonna eat of it. Come on.
And the prosperity of fools the prosperity of fools shall destroy them.
When they start seeing all these other people out here living their best life, doing what they want to do, guess what your kids don't want to do? They don't want to be like them. And guess what they gonna do? They gonna be like them. You know why? You ain't do what your parents did to you. You ain't do what Yahuwah told you to do. You wanted to be their friend, didn't you? We wish we would have had friends that our parents. Oh man, my daddy would have never let me do that. Look at how you turned out. You here. Something happened to where you better off. But then we turn and don't do that for ours. And wonder why stuff happened the way it happened. Be honest with ourselves. Come on. Finish it out.
But whoso hearkens unto me shall.
Whosoever do what?
But whoso hearkens unto me.
If you listen to him, when did he start talking? When did he try to talk to them? Way before this, right? But if you listen to me at the first, whoso listen to me what?
Shall dwell safely and shall be quiet from fear of evil.
That's real, because that's the book. Slavery was a choice. Our parenting, we make choices. Our children make choices. Everything we do on this earth as we're walking, we make a choice. Either we can listen to Yahuwah or we don't. But if we don't be surprised if he doing you like he did Isaac. Let you have it. You gonna laugh at me because of what? All right. Watch what I do. Watch what I do. Psalms chapter 2 and verse 2 tell you that he laughed at our enemies. Watch what he do to you. All of the book is real, not just that part. I digress.
How important is the nucleus family?
Are you about to start the situation?
No, I'm changing over, especially what my man said right here, the brother up front. He was saying that we're given instructions to be prosperous. All we gotta do is follow them. Yeah. And I was thinking, like, all our instructions don't have consequences, or do they really? And I think about how important is the nucleus family, because some of the instructions is directly directed at the nucleus family. Yeah. It is so important that if my nation is at war, if I go out and take a wife, I'm not allowed to go. Just from taking a wife. No, we got this. We gonna go fight. You stay at home and get your house in order.
Yeah.
So how important is the nucleus family?
You just said it. It's the most important.
So we have these instructions, we have time to prepare, but now that we have choice, we choose not to.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to our detriment, what did you just say? We're living our best life.
Yeah.
We're looking at the prosperity of others and hey, we're gonna go do that.
Yeah.
So I'm not taking a year off work because I can't afford to, because I want to be able to provide these things financially. Not knowing it's to a detriment to my house. Because the instruction is stay at home, make sure your wife is good before you go. Now, as a father, I brought this up to my son because he's planning on getting married. Asked him the other day. I think he was on the phone with me. I like, you ready? He was like, no. That's unacceptable. And I'm not just putting that on him. I take hold to that too. I got to make sure his income is right. I got to make sure whatever I'm doing, he's going to benefit from.
Yeah.
I got to help him prepare himself. So as a brother that loves my brother, should I not do the same?
Absolutely.
So let's just take this congregation for example. If I know somebody in here has found a potential and is working towards that marriage, that family, my thoughts now is, okay, we need to put things in place to make sure that they do well.
I agree.
So he can afford to take a year off of work, like our instructions tell us. So it's like, I was thinking, what we talked about, I was thinking about that, but with the things that came up today, especially him talking about preparation for our kids, it's the same thing with our wife. We're supposed to prepare for that.
I agree. This particular conversation kill all that other stuff I was saying. With, people gonna say this, people gonna say that. That's the way to kill it.
So as we grow and do better, we gotta step up and hold ourselves accountable. And that brings me to another thought process or another seed that got popped in my head about all the business owners and stuff among us. We're all separate. We're not really working together. The simple things like a website. They got affiliate marketing on a website. My website should have everybody's link on my website. Whether they got a website or not, they got a way to sell their merchandise online. I should have a link to make sure somebody know or be promoting their stuff on my website to help them get better because I'm doing it anyway.
Absolutely.
We should all be connected in every way possible. We got to take this brotherly love to the next level.
I talked about that last week. Thank you for something here.
Hey, that's the reason why stuff got changed, though. Remember what we was talking about. If it's more about the people that you're around and not just worried about self, we'll see stuff change. Not just here, but in our personal lives. But once you scurry out of here and go to your own corner until next week, and you cut yourself off from the rest of the people inside of here, don't let them build. It'll take you longer to build yourself. Right or wrong? Come on. That's why I do building on houses and stuff like that. Elder Larry do the same thing. Now, let's just say clear their slate like they ain't had no work, and all of us had something to do at our house. And we was able to create or make their income based on us reaching out to them. Right? And now, they got some money now. They want to spend some money getting some necklaces. He ain't going out to Hutch. None of them, he coming to y'all. Right? Instead of door dashing and going sit down at the restaurant, Mama Johnson, she got her own restaurant. And we going to sit down and eat over at her place. So we put the same money we spent for him that he just spent for you, now you going to spend at her restaurant. Right? Now, we got Brother Perry or whoever got their own garden. Mama Johnson need food. She need to be able to take her money and go buy crops. Well, Brother Perry got a garden. So now she take her money and she spend with Brother Perry to get her garden, to get her stuff so she can feed it. You see how it all just kind of, you know what I'm saying? Before that dollar ever leave out of this building, it done circulated. But because we go out there, we're so far disconnected from one another, we can't even fathom that. You know what I'm saying?
That made me think about something else. The other day, Joe Sherrill was telling me that we bought a homeschooling program for Aiden. And I was like, okay, we need to make sure we get tablets for the young one too, so they both can learn the same thing. She's like, no, you gotta pay per child. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm in my house. I'm not gonna pay twice for both my kids to sit in front of the same computer. That makes sense. So same difference with us. I just paid for a program to learn how to grow and understand my business credit. So every other business owner here, now they know Antoine's taking a credit class. I'm not prepared to go spend that kind of money just to learn about my credit. But Antoine doing it, let me go holler at him. Same thing. We all don't need to spend the same amount of money to learn the same information. If one of us spent the money already, the information is in-house now.
Right.
So that's a true story. I paid for a credit class, so let's get it popping.
And I've been on this line almost every day. But yeah, we got a couple questions on the chat. Here we go with this one.
While you're looking at that, it's kind of funny. We do it all the time. Thinking about paying for something everybody benefit from it. Now, I like my whiskey. I might get a glass or two out of this bottle, but everybody gets benefit from me bringing this bottle. We need to take that mentality across the board.
Okay, you got it.
Peanut butter.
Like old record stuff. I can't benefit from it.
It's the sweet kind, Doc. It's the sweet kind.
No, ain't that sweet.
All right, I don't know if you want to answer this question, man, but about the weed smoke, is it a sin or is it just the addiction? You want to answer it or not? All right, there was a question brought forth. I don't remember the answer. Is smoking weed a sin or is it the addiction that's the sin? I'm unsure how to answer. I'm not answering. You leave me alone. I'm not answering nothing. Y'all know how I feel.
You are addicted to anything, you are in error. You are living
what does this mean? Is there still hope for salvation then?
What was it? You got context on that?
Anybody got context on this question?
It was during a conversation early on.
Okay.
And I don't know what it was.
Sister, if you still on here watching, when you say what does this mean? Is there still hope for salvation then? There's always hope for salvation. I don't even need the context of it. Let's come on around here to hold on. Let's see. When you were talking, not listening to the voice, yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's get something real quick. Let's get something. We are going to. Titus 3. Titus 3 and verse 1. The point is, hope for salvation is exactly what it is. It's hope. Right? We don't know when the Most High closes his door. I can't tell you when the Most High is going to close his door on you. What I can tell you and what I can instruct you to do is the right thing. Don't keep playing with fire to see if it's hot, because you ain't felt it yet. Do the right thing now. That's the whole point. Do the right thing right now. Let's see, Titus 3 and 1.
Titus chapter 3 and verse 1. Put them in mind to be subject to principalities and powers, to obey magistrates, to be ready to every good work.
We talked about this a little bit before, about how these are the powers that you will put into place, right? Because it says to be ready to every good work, but we'll get into that until another time. Verse 2.
To speak evil of no man.
He said, don't speak evil of no man, whatever.
To be no brawler.
Don't be a brawler.
But gentle, shewing all meekness unto all men. For we ourselves also.
For who?
For we ourselves also were sometimes foolish.
Who wrote this epistle? Paul wrote this epistle. The same person that told you, be you followers of me as I'm a follower of Hamashiach. The same one that was able to give you a commandment from Mashiach. The same one that was able to speak boldly to these congregations. He said, we ourselves, speaking of himself,
also.
We ourselves also what?
Were sometimes foolish.
We were sometimes foolish. Read.
Disobedient.
What was it?
Disobedient.
He said they themselves were sometimes disobedient. What else?
Deceived.
And what?
Deceived.
They were deceived too. Remember, he told us to be without understanding is worthy of death. Sometimes they were deceived as well. Come on.
Serving diverse lusts.
Doing what?
Serving diverse lusts.
And what else?
And pleasures.
Living what?
Living in malice.
And what?
And envy.
What else?
Hateful.
And
hating one another.
And hating one another. So he gave you the recipe to death right there. I was there. We all been there. He gave you the recipe. If you want to die by way of the hands of the Most High, here's the recipe to do it. He said, we was also there at one point in time. None of us up here can preach to you and tell you to do the right thing without already first having doing the wrong thing. Right? Look what he said after that.
But after that.
We said what?
But after that.
But after that, what?
The kindness and the love of Elohim, our Savior, toward man appeared.
Hey,
yo.
Is out? Look on the bottom. Oh,
Check, 1, 2, 1, 2. But after that, the kindness and love of our Elohim, our Savior toward man, appeared.
He said, but after that, so when we was living this way, he said, but after that, the kindness and the love of our Elohim, our Savior towards man appeared. So we understand, Shalom Maki. So we understand that once the folly had already taken place, and I was able to see manifest the word of the Most High, I was able to see manifest the Ruach, the Mashiach, right? Then what? Good.
Which he shed,
Verse 5.
Not by the works of righteousness which we have done But according to his mercy,
he did what?
he saved us.
He didn't show up and show us the right thing and give us the right way based on our actions, because we ain't do no righteousness. He said, but he did what?
He saved us.
By his mercy, he saved us. Come on.
By the washing of the regeneration and renewing of the Ruach HaKodesh, which he had shed on us abundantly through Yahushua HaMashiach, our Savior, that being justified by his grace.
By his grace. Come on.
We should be made heirs according to the hope of eternal life.
According to the hope of what?
Eternal life.
That's the hope. The hope of eternal life comes when you're doing the right thing. It don't come when you're doing the wrong thing. You don't have nothing to hope for. You don't have nothing coming to you if you in his presence doing the wrong thing. Please do not expect nothing from Yahuwah Elohim if you are in the midst of your folly. Turn from it. I can't give you an expiration date to his mercy and grace for you. What I can give you is encouraging words to change from what you were in. At that particular point in the game, your belief is going to come into effect. Right? Be endowed with the Ruach on high so you can make your calling and your election sure. If you don't know whether or not you're going to be there, probably need to get, you know what I'm saying, get yourself together. You're supposed to be sure. You're supposed to know without a shadow of a doubt because you're following what he's saying. So he's saying, is there no hope for salvation then? The only way that you will not have hope for salvation is if you stay in your folly. Travis, are you still going to do the lesson on Romans chapter 14? I thought I did before. Or did I do it for Bible study? I probably did it for Bible study. Yeah. How the weak in faith receive you. I did that for Bible study. I believe I touched on it a little bit here too, though. But I can go into it again one of these weeks. But I did teach it. We can go into it again, though. I think that's the only question. We ain't got no other questions inside here? We good? Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Let's go ahead and pray out. Oh, hold on. Hold it down. Feast of dedication.
Hanukkah is going to be November 29th. We'll be here every night through December 6th, 7 p.m. We're just going to fellowship and hang out.
I would say hang out. Spades. Definitely spades.
Spades, food, whatever else. We'll be here. We also talked about Brothers last week having our meeting start up again. So we want to do that. Brother Antoine is off at his home. But first we want to start up this week at his house. Friday evening, 7 o'clock.
That's cool to,
To the show, take it out.
time before life. So if you get off work at 12 o'clock, we're still there.
I'm going to bed.
I do want to say this to y'all.
That's a choice.
Antoine kind of let the cat out the bag a little early, but we will be starting breakfast here at the building on Shabbat. Right? We'll open up the spot for breakfast, prayer, fellowship. You know what I'm saying? All the way rolling into when service starts. So feel free. Next week we will be having breakfast at the building. I think not 7 a.m. 7 a.m. is not going to happen. I like 10. 10 a.m. works. Give me 1 second, John. Give me 1 second. 10 a.m. 10 a.m. Let's do 10 a.m. We'll be here. But that's the whole. Oh shoot. We'll open up the doors at 9:30. We'll open up the doors at 9:30 because we do have 10 o'clock prayer.
You ain't even let me on this morning, brother.
Thank you. All right. Real quick, hold on one second. So we open up the doors at 9:30 so we can make sure that we have our 10 a.m. prayer.
We can pray here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So we open up the doors at 9:30. That way we have our 10 a.m. prayer. Everybody's welcome. Come on out. We are also, and I'll let you know the exact day we start. We're going to actually have our Fridays at the building. We will be turning back on, right? We will be opening it up for everybody. We'll have business that we take care of, whether it's the brothers having a meeting or whatever have you for the first hour and a half. Everything else will be for the congregation. So if there's any meal prep that needs to be done, we have a stove, we have refrigerators, we have everything here that we need for preparation for Shabbat. Yes? We talk about coming together, camaraderie, and all that different type of stuff. Coming together as a family will help that. You agree? We're also going to be doing once a month events, once a month, whether it be bowling, paintball, whatever you name it. Once a month we're going to do that. We're getting ready to get all this stuff moving and set for the fiscal year coming up. Fiscal year. So just be ready for it, all right? Hallelujah? All right, come on, what you got?
Somebody mentioned to me that on Fridays, y'all discuss doctrine. What time is that?
That's what he was talking about, 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock?
Yes.
7 o'clock.
This week we're going to be at my house. We're not going to be here.
Yeah, seriously. We discuss doctrine all the time. Anytime you see a brother facing the doctrine will be discussed. Like after we close out, we pray out, come on up here. You know what I'm saying? All the brothers be around after the wedding. And anytime ain't no hold on, oh no, brother, ain't that. You know what I'm saying? You got something to say, you got something to ask, that's what we're here for.
This Friday, we're going to be over at his house, though. It's coming Friday if you want to come.
At his house, so get his address.
All right, we got anything else in here?
Tomorrow,
Tomorrow, we have our first annual. Huh? You say annual for a year, right? What'd you say for monthly? Or something? We go quarterly, we gonna do this thing a little bit more than once a year. Our first something, we gonna put it tight, we gonna put something behind that. Our first, whatever that is, pop-up shop. I don't know, first monthly or quarterly, whatever. First that pop-up shop for the chosen seed. Alright? We have a bunch of beautiful businesses that are, whether they're in grassroots or they're flourishing, they will be here with their merchandise. Please, we just talked about the dollar popping around, right? Here's your opportunity. Support black business. We always say that, right? All right, everybody in here black. You know what I'm saying? You know, just saying. We don't discriminate against nobody that's not black in our congregation. If they got business too, they'll be here. You know what I'm saying? We don't discriminate. But you have an opportunity to support the businesses of the people that you see every single day. So if it ain't nothing but a dollar, what y'all say? What's the lowest y'all gonna take? Not a dollar, what y'all say? $10, $20. It ain't nothing but $20. Come on now. Let's support the chosen seed, all right? Anything else? Hot tea and hair wrap? Hot tea and hair wraps is next Sunday. Noon to 4th, November the 28th. Sisters, if you got hot tea, not the stuff you talk about other people with. I ain't talking about that type of tea. We talking about chamomile or chai or herbal this, peppermint. If you got that type of tea with your favorite mug, and you got an hair wrap in which you own, which you should, because you here every week. Please come out November the 28th, where sisters get together, have a powwow, learn each other, break strongholds, and eat. Because I heard y'all be eating. Make enough food this week for the fellas too, because we coming to pick up our wives and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? And, you know. Noon to 4, November 28th. Make sure you're here, all right? All right. Anything else before we pray out? Oh, the menu. There we go. That's a good thing. Can you pass me that paper up there, brother? It's like 3 papers actually. Okay. There you go. All right. So again, we had last week we had issues. Not necessarily issues. Yeah, we had issues. We don't have to call it it. We had issues about menu, right? Who's gonna cook this? Who's gonna cook that? The weight being on one person's shoulders, all that different type of stuff. So we have a solution, right? There's no reason to have a problem and speak about a problem if you don't have a solution. All right? We got a solution. So on the first of every month, I think I put this up in the thing. On the first of every month, you will see a menu posted for the next month. Okay? It's going to be menus for each week. It's 4 meals in a month. Somebody say 4 meals. This shouldn't be hard. 4 meals. 4 meals will be posted in the beginning of the month, every month. You will be able to see what is on that menu, and there are 2 name slots per item. Okay? 2. No more than 2 because we don't want to get into we got 2 people per item. It don't necessarily mean that 2 people have to make that item, but it will be better. 2 is better than 1, right? If something go wrong, somebody is not able to come or not able to do whatever, we got 2 people, right? And that means that the weight of creating the food or making the food for the chosen seed is not just put on one person. It's split up, right? You take this one, you do it for 20 people, you take this, you do it for, however we do it. You got 2 people per item, okay? These are going to be filled out. So by the time that week gets here, we already know what's on the menu. We already know who's going to make it. We already have the funding for it. There's no issues in last minute. Oh, we don't got nobody to make this. We don't got nobody to do that. It's already there for you. The first sheet that I have here is for December 11th. Somebody say December 11th. How far away is that? Right? About a month. We started in the middle of the month, so we about a month away. If we can't have this menu list filled out by December 11th, we should be ashamed of ourselves. Okay? This is what we're going to have for our menus. We will have them posted in the kitchen. You will see all of the menus posted. Right? The first week of December, I believe, is still will still be in Hanukkah, Feast dedication. So yeah, December the 11th is the first week that we have to deal with this particular sheet. So it's going to be posted in there. This also gives us the option to be able to add things to the menu. Right? So if you want on here, you're going to have to make it, huh? But if you want to add something to the menu, if we don't have a vegan option, if we don't have, these are reasons and ways, this is a way for us to be able to account for everybody if we do it in advance, all right? We got any questions?
Yes.
Come on.
Not necessarily a question, a statement.
Come on.
Be mindful of what you purchase, the ingredients. A lot of stuff that we buy is not good for us. So if we're buying for other people, we want to get the best. Cost, you do not have to fit the cost. That cost can be passed to the congregation.
Yes.
So don't be thinking you got to buy the cheapest thing because that's all you can afford. You're not paying for it.
Yes.
Men, don't shy away. Some of us do know how to cook. And also some of us can dictate to our wives what they are going to cook. So don't shy away, men, if you want to volunteer your wife. You are able to do that. But if you want to cook yourself, you can do that too.
Hey, what's our life? What's going on? Oh, what he gonna do? Listen. Let me tell you something. Listen. Look, let me introduce y'all to something real quick. Introduce y'all to something. nothing he said. Now, if we want to say, Antoine, you make the sweet potato fries this week, whatever, cool. Ain't nothing what he said wrong. So I don't want us to make a joke out of it. Because I talked to a couple of brothers. Some of the weeks we can take over. You feel what I'm saying?
Let's do 2 and 2.
See, hold on. See, now you pushing, huh? You know what I'm saying? You give people an inch, they take them out. You know what I'm saying? We gonna volunteer, okay? So, you know what I'm saying? Now, we might take the week where we got fruit salad and tuna salad and tossed salad. You know what I'm saying? We might take the healthy weeks. You know what I'm saying? Either way, we'll be volunteering. You know what I'm saying? But this is a way, y'all. This is a way for everybody to be able to participate. All right? The beautiful thing about this is there is no, hold it down, y'all, please. There's no pressure on anybody. There's no pressure. All of this is volunteer work, y'all. It's all volunteer work. There's no pressure. If you don't want to cook, if you don't want to do something for your congregation, then don't do it. It's up to you. But remember, the same people that you don't want to feed is the same people that feed you. All right? So, again, my household, hey, my wife didn't cook for a long time. A lot of stuff. I don't shy away from that. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know my wife. Right? She has her reasons. So we ain't going to negate some of that stuff either. But the fact of the matter is in that particular portion of our congregation, we didn't contribute like that. You know what I'm saying? Monetarily sometimes, yes, we did. Hey, well, we'll put some money with this for y'all to do, right? But this is for everybody to participate. Okay? Everybody. If you ever felt the way and felt like you weren't able to participate, here's a way for you to be able to go ahead and jump in front of the train. You know what I'm saying? This is for all of us. Okay? This is a step into the future. All right? Do we got any other announcements? Do we got anything else? You got something? I see your hand. I see your hand. All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and pray out. We gonna pray. We gonna pray. We gonna pray. We gonna pray. Pray out. Pray out. We gonna pray. We gonna pray. We gonna pray. We gonna pray. Pray out. Pray out. We gonna pray. We gonna pray. We gonna pray. We gonna pray. Pray out. Pray out. Do we get enough? Oh, you up here.
Lord, Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the word that came forth, Father. We ask you to allow us to take it to heart, Father. We ask you to allow us to take all the discussions we have this week and last week, Father, to come together as one, Father, to become that congregation of Philadelphia that we desire to be, Father. We ask you to remove every way of sin that's easily beset us, Father, as we walk throughout the week, Father. We ask you to keep us in your love and care, Father. Protect those who are not here with us present today, Father. Continue to lift those up who are sick among us, Father. Those who are grieving, Father. Those who are stressed, Father. Those who are low spirit, Father. Continue to keep us, Father, until we come together again at the appointed time. In the name of Yahushua HaMashiach, we pray. So be it. So be it.
Avinu Shabbat Shemaim. Avinu Shabbat Shemaim. Ikadosh. Ikadosh. Shemka. Shemka. Tavo. Tavo. Makuka. Makuka. Yaseh. Yaseh. Resuka. Resuka. Bares. Bares. Kasher. Kasher. Nasha. Nasha. Vashmaim. Vashmaim. Teilanu. Teilanu. Hayom. Hayom. Liki. Liki. Kikanu. Kikanu. Usla. Usla. Lanu. Lanu. Eight. Eight. Ashmatenu. Ashmatenu. Kasher. Kasher. Suki. Suki. Banamdu. Banamdu. Kasher. Kasher. Ashu. Ashu. Lanu. Lanu. Wa'o. Wa'o. Tabilu, Beden, Masa, Ki, Ni, Asuman, Ni, Ra, Ki, Ka, Amam, Wai, Gibora, Wati, Feres, Mame, Mani, So be it.